Howdy, howdy, everybody, and welcome to the BSR MX5 Monday Cup. I'm Austin Knight. I am joined by Marco Baranaba here at the Circuit de 24 Hours de Mons. I hope you guys are ready for a great time here at Apex Racing TV as we are about moments away to get started here at the 24 Hours of Le Mans Circuit with the MX5s.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome, Austin, and glad to have you here for this series. First time for you commentating in this series, so I can assure you are going to have a lot of fun. Second round of the season, and we are in a very nice racetrack that we've all watched last weekend in the Le Mans 24-hour event, and certainly a track that will provide for some unique challenges for these drivers. This car is absolutely sensible to slipstreaming. There are some long straights, and in the 15 minutes that we usually run on our race distance, it is this means that we are not going to have a lot of laps, so making no mistake is going to be crucial. At the same time, given the long straights, the reverse grids that we are going to have are not going to be that important because you have the time and the chance to get further ahead. But of course, that first chicane there, you have seen over the years, both in real life and in iRacing, has been the scenario for many catastrophic crashes. So hopefully everyone will use that tonight.
Yeah, hopefully everyone is a bit careful through the first and secondary chicanes. As you said, the reverse grid for the secondary time, the main decider for that will be the Porsche curves. If you do not get a good line through there and the ending chicanes, all that ending stuff in the ending sector and starting sector, that is where it decides who is going to be the best part. Also, Indianapolis, look for that to be a great overtaking spot as well.
We are on board with Charles Kellyman. Of course, we have a massive field tonight. Right now, as we speak, there are 33 drivers signed up for the race. Let's see how many will take the start as Ben Sharp. Why did I say Mike Sharp? Ben Sharp moves into second place in his brand new Fury Simsport Academy Year 1 sponsored livery, and Year 1, of course, we can say winners in Le Mans on Sunday, because they were the official flip-flop sponsor of... Oh, as we have a massive flip there in the background.
Oh my, he's rolling over. Who was that?
Who was that? Yeah,
I think that was John Moore.
I think he was. Well, whoever he was, towed back to the pits. Let's see it. Yes, it was him. So yeah, they were, they made the flip-flops for the bank heating team that won in the GTM class. So already we have a trouble spot for these cars, those curbs at the final chicane. These drivers will have to be very careful, because this car, if you put it on two wheels, it is tough to get it, back into a stable position.
Yeah, this car is known for oversteering and understeering at the same time, but it certainly does not drive on two wheels.
No, we have seen in the past season, especially, some drivers have some extreme flips, especially when they had suspension damage, wheel damage, and they are trying to, balance that problem. Yeah, steering on the other side, towards the other side. Scarlardi goes in fifth, and that was less than ideal. As qualifying is almost over, who do we have left? I think all the drivers have more or less done their time. I think we have just 30 seconds left before the session switches over. Maybe Edward May can complete his lap, but no, I'm not confident. He's still a bit far away. So, as you can see, our lap time is around 5 minutes, and that is actually...
Top times, definitely it is averaged around 5 minutes. The top guys can get up there to 4 minutes 59 seconds. With Alex Rivette and Ben Sharp both getting up there, but everyone's around the 5 minute mark right now.
And of course, it's important and very, very easy to pick up an off track here and there. So that's why I think only 13 drivers have got a fast, a recorded lap time. Maybe Edward May can indeed get to the start finish line as he is into the Ford chicane, bouncing on the curbs. In
Go
the
for
final
it.
corner, where Willie Slot himself, I think he's in a good position if the lap time is valid,
I don't. It wasn't valid.
which it is not. So,
That was a
he,
4:59.2192. That would have put him on pole.
you know that you can get a clean lap, and at that final corner, if you go a bit too wide, you get an off track, and there have been many frustrated drivers over the years for that particular situation. And it's the rules of the game. Kip Stevens, one of the pro drivers, they will start from the rear, and they will basically have their own separate race. We are going to enjoy a rolling start in all three of the races tonight that come there as they enter Mulsanne. If you clip that, you're getting a slowdown, so you want to be as clean as possible. And Mulsanne corner, as well on its own, it's a very tricky corner. You come here, massive speed, presumably in a battle, then you have to brake the car. You have to brake your car, stop your car there, and turn on the right. And more often than not, we see cars at straight away, both in real life and, of course, here on iRacing, as these drivers have been given a lot of extra time to complete their laps. So we are almost 5 minutes into extra time. Kip Stevens is coming through the final sections you can see on the minimap,
He's the
and
only guy on track.
yeah, coming through Indianapolis, another place where it's very easy to get an off track.
But it's also going to be one of the top contention points, as well as the slowest point on this course. As he goes extremely wide, and yep, that is an off-track penalty right there.
Yes, it is.
Stevens lap invalidated.
So we are waiting for the session to switch over. Right now, it should be really a matter of seconds.
He's going to finish out this lap. Actually, no, he's going to retire right here. Or he's just... Yeah, I believe he's going to finish out this lap. Or just test the limits even more. So he's coming slowly through the Porsche curves. Practicing an in-lap, I guess. But Kip Stevens, number 29 car for Switch Cooper Esports. I would say starting P17, I believe.
As we welcome all our viewers, Kip Steven disappears promptly from the racetrack, which can only mean that we are getting ready for the starting grid. Just a few seconds of wait as we are also, while we are here, just give you a bit of a update on the weather. As you can see, it's 8:33 in the morning. We are stopped in time and space. The clock is not going forward nor backwards. We have 18 degrees on the racetrack. Oh, sorry, in the air. 20 degrees on the racetrack. So almost perfect conditions. There is basically no wind. So these drivers, Austin, will enjoy basically perfect driving conditions for this race.
Oh yeah, conditions are absolutely perfect for these cars to get ready and going as we're waiting for the race to get up and running, waiting for all the cars to get ready onto that rolling start. So we go, sky's looking good, crowd's looking great, track's looking fantastic, all the cars are looking good. I say let's get them rolling. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
we really racing giving a lot of time in these hosted sessions, in league sessions to the drivers to complete their laps. Since it's a 5 minute lap, I think it's based off that. But really, we should be switching on the next session very
Right
soon.
about now. Well, I'll try.
No, not yet. Maybe some of the admins can advance as we are enjoying
I
some.
think they're having a little bit of discussion in the voice chat on on procedures.
Here we go.
There we go.
And so, as the session switches over, we can take you through the starting grid.
All right, it's Alex Riviette starting on pole, the 459.219, expecting him to try to pull away, but he's going to be close behind, followed by Ben Sharp. Jess Banks starting in the second row. He's with Steve Hansford. In the third row, it's Carl Hardy and Steve Cooley right next to him. And starting seventh, it is Green Sessford and Scott Malcolm. Andy Maxwell and Charles Kellyman starting 9th and 10th. Starting 11th is Martin Sampson, and 12th is Anthony Ainsworth. Terry Miles starting in 13th, as well as our first pro, Kip Stevens, in P14. Christian Brown starting P15. He's with Nick McKieran right next to him. Oh my goodness. Wooten Van Essen starting in P7. 17, we were watching Edward May. He set a pole time, but that was unfortunately uncounted against him, so expect him racing for the new Fury Synsport Year 1 Academy to get back up there and try to battle his way through the field. Dale Bennison starting from P19. James Lawton starting from P20. P21, David Ayers. P22, Russell Davis. He's followed by Carl Jacquelot, John Moore, Alan Toon, Mark Westwood, Brian Holmes, Ashley Beard, Jimmy Harris, Jack Ashton, Tyler Maxson, Ryan Oliver, and Mikey Key in this massive 33-card grid as the cars are getting ready to start rolling. I believe one of them is going to be starting for the pits. And yeah, we are just waiting on one person. I think he might be starting for the pits as we are getting ready to go green.
Yes, we are. Cars should be rolling right now, or in just a matter of seconds. You can see the engine rising, and here we go. We are rolling, waiting for this rolling start.
Ben Sharp's actually stalled. I think that was caught off guard, but everyone's getting their cars ready. We should see Ben just flooring it right now. There he comes. Hopefully that didn't cause a massive accident right behind him. I don't think it did. Yeah, it didn't. Thankfully. But there are a lot of cars slowly coming up to the field. Thankfully, it is a pace lap as the safety car is going much slower, waiting for this entire 33-car grid to line up as they're coming through the Porsche curbs. Hope you guys are ready and excited, because I certainly am. But the question is, as they come up to the Dunlop chicane, who's going to be leading? Is it going to be Alex, or is it going to be Ben, or will Jez or Steve have a jump on them from the start? Riding on board with Cooley right now, number 87. Also, Andy Markswell on the back of him, looking at somebody else as planes fly over us right now. Tension is building. Speeds are rising as Terry Mills has jumped to the pits. That is the number 14 car. He's going to be starting from the pit lane. As the safety car pulls off, ladies and gentlemen, the lights are about to go green. And here goes Alex Rivette jumping the start. So they go through the first chicane and into the second one. He gives a little bit of a regroup as the green flags fly. And here we go racing. And Ben Sharp actually jumps Alex around the outside. They're side by side heading through the Dunlop curve. A lot of passes already as everyone behind him has actually gone into straight single file. But we're going 2, almost 3 wide. Heading into the Dunlop chicane, Alex Rivette regains the lead, going through the inside line, going through the Dunlop chicane. And where did Jez Banks get that speed from? Launches themselves up the inside into the Dunlop chicane. Looking back at Sessford and Benson as they're all going down there. More battles side by side into the chicane. Everyone's trying to gain as much ground as they can in these early starts. Back at the front with Rivette and Sharp. They're followed by Banks as well. So flying through the S's and about to head on to this massive draft battle of a back straight. And look at Sharp, the speed he's already got. He's already put himself onto the inside. The straight hasn't even started yet. Well, I don't believe there was any contact on that start.
No, I'm looking at the event viewer and the live timing. Everyone is good to go. There's been a lot of caution, which is good to see. And yes, now of course the tough part starts, because look at the way they are fanning out for the chicane.
Yeah, coming up to the chicane right now, 3 wide. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Look at Banks taking the lead. Banks breaks first, and Revette breaks later. And Revette's going to try to hold it on to the outside. Now the inside. Now back to the outside. But look at Banks. He's got the inside line. And the new leader is Jez Banks after the first chicane.
How long is it going to last? Because of course now another straight and another chicane. And once again you see how, you know, the speed differential, if you are in the draft or not,
Sharp.
is significant.
Watch Sharp. He might try to make a move up the inside. With this massive slipstream, we got a 2-way battle. Now let's make it a 3-way battle. We're having a 3-way drag race here in Le Mans as Ben Sharp overtakes Alex Revette for the lead. 1, 2, 3, they come into the chicane. Not as close as the first time, as Ben Sharp now leads out of that second chicane and will have an advantage coming in to Mussolini. But that draft once again. Look for Revette or Jez Banks. He's trying to make a move right there. Revette's actually having a little bit of teleportation problems. Hopefully that does not cause any problems for anyone else, as Revette's going to the outside. Sharp defending on in the middle. Here comes Banks up the inside. They're going 3 wide once more into Mussolini. A little bit of a lockup right there, as it's Revette launching themselves around the outside. Staying on track, all of them, as Scott Malcolm has crashed. Oh, we got a massive crash in the background.
Do we?
Scott Malcolm, James Lawton, Dale Bendison has crashed out.
So I would think that the event viewer, registered like the massive deceleration there. I would hope, because the car seems to be okay. But these guys here at the front.
There's a car stuck on the minimap, but just look at this move, almost going 4 wide right now as they're approaching Indianapolis.
Oh, that was
Sharp went way to the inside.
Yeah.
Hopped the curb, kept his car under control, but that allowed his teammate Banks to get ahead of him as Alex Revette leading everybody out into the slowest corner on the course. Homage. Got to get a good exit leading into, yeah, I believe it is the massive deceleration.
Yeah, that's usually, here at the airpin in Montreal, etc. That is where it, works like this. Oh, and once again, the two teammates side by side, Banks and Sharp. This is a fantastic way to start the night.
Fantastic way, fantastic start, massive grouping as they're coming into the Porsche curve. Sharp up the inside, taking P1. And Banks might try to do the same, put a little bit of pressure on Alex Revette. He's having a little bit of teleportation, so expect Banks to actually back off and be a little bit safer behind him. So they're approaching Corvette curves.
Oh, we have a crash!
Oh!
It's May and Malcolm. Edward May also.
Edward May.
I saw May's car move to the right, so was it all on his own? Yes.
That was out of control. Then, same with Malcolm, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That was quite a strange one. See if we can get
hit. Yep, Scott Malcolm lost it on his own, as well as Ever May coming out of the curves. Massive weight transfers as Revette's in the pits.
Did he get a penalty for not serving that slowdown when he cut the... Or was he that... oh, Ben Sharp also. Very slow. Yeah, you're right. He wasn't the driver that cut the... It was, I think, Sharp that, took that inside curb very hard in the, middle of the...
Yeah, Sharp did cut a bit of the chicane through the 4 skirts.
he might have jumped the start then.
Oh, and look at Hansford! No! In the essence, Hansford loses to the back end, comes back on track, right into Sharp's path, and Sharp gets a massive nose full of Hansford's car. That's going to definitely hurt his engine and his aerodynamics down this front straight. Well, massive straight.
It's a disaster after a very clean first lap. Everything is happening. Right now you see loses the car as a tank slapper. Nothing the Fury Sim Sport Academy car could have done there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
to avoid him.
Pretty much stuck behind him as Banks and Cooley are leading out by an absolute mile. So we're looking at Jacqueline, Hardy, and Cooley all side with each other. Never mind on Hardy and Cooley. This is Jacqueline, Sampson, Sesford, and Maxwell as the leaders are way ahead. So we're heading into the chicane.
Ooh.
Massive track exit by Sesford right there. They get back on track. I do not believe that gave him a penalty of any kind.
No, he's still going at regular speed, so he got lucky there. Let's see at the front. This is where Banks is. Cooley is in second, Carlardi is in third, so Fury Sim Sport Year 1 and result. And like you were saying, they have a decent gap over fourth place and backwards.
It's about 5 seconds separating that front group to this group. We're heading to the second chicane. Jacqueline has trying to pull out a good lead over Martin and Graham, as well as Amy Maxwell. But you're going to start seeing some groups start to form on this straight with this slipstream buddy system that's going on right here. And if you're on your own, you're pretty much caught in just a lull as here comes Sesford around Martin Sampson, trying to make a move going up the outside into the braking zone. Sampson's got the inside line. If he gets a little bit soft on the brakes, could try to do it, but not gonna happen as Graham Sesford picks up P5.
That was a nice move by Graham.
Very clean.
And now they have to work together. If they work together, and the same goes for Cooley and Hardy, I think they can get back to Jazz Banks. Let's see. Yes, look at the second and third place guy. They are closing in on the leader. Of course, the slipstream so important around here, and it seems like they are going to fight again, the two teammates here.
Yeah, teammates going side by side as they're heading into Indianapolis. Oh, you two better keep it clean because look who's behind them. Sampson might try to get a little snipe up the inside. He's launched it, and there it goes. As well as Maxford. As well, they went side by side through there. That just put him into... Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Maxwell and Sesford. Sesford going a bit wide, going... I believe that was off track, but did not count as a penalty. But yeah, both teammates went side by side. That just put Sesford into a disadvantage going into that corner. Great move though by Sampson to get that done.
So back to the leader now. You can see we have a united front there. 3 cars, Banks, Cooley, and Hardy. So now we have at least 3 cars fighting it out for the race win as we are about to start lap number 3. Will this be the white flag? I tell you what, I think it is.
It is a 15-minute race. Lap times are around 5:11. Well, it's only been 1 lap, so yes. Yeah, this will definitely be the white flag. But Banks going to the pits. I think he had a penalty that he had to serve in the pit lane, but that is very disastrous. Banks, the leader, entering into the pit lane, and that promotes Stephen Cooley as the white flag shows. With Carl Hardy now leading this race, they have a 3-second gap behind them to Carl Jacqueline right behind him.
Jacqueline got 4 seconds quicker than the 2 leaders in this past lap, so if he can push like he knows he can, I think he can join them for one final ditch, one final effort at trying to get the race win.
That gap is down to 3 seconds, and if he sets another 458 and the leader set a 503 and a 502, he will definitely rejoin them and retake the lead. But all eyes right now are on the battle for first. Cooley, Hardy. Will they keep each other occupied? Will they distract each other enough for Carl Jacqueline to join them as they're going side by side? Carl has no help, by the way, in this very slipstream report, and they aren't helping each other as well. They're going to try to make this a three-way fight as they're just having a little side-by-side drafting battle, and Carl Jacqueline is slowly gaining on them with that dirty air on this straight. They're side-by-side having a little bit of Sunday cruise, it looks like, but these guys are pedal to the metal as they're heading into the first chicane. Who's going to be the last late breakers? Carl Hardy jumps it into first. They both hop over that curb, keeping both cars in line. You see Jacqueline closing in. Gap is 2 seconds now. Has already gained a second on him. So once again, going to that 2x2 formation. I believe Stephen Cooley is actually doing that on purpose, trying to help out Jacqueline rejoin this group. Two teammates working together for year one racing. It's Carl Hardy and Stephen Cooley swapping places. Ooh. Here goes Carl Hardy, wait on the brakes, swings past Cooley, and now Cooley with the switchback gets past Hardy. That was a bit dicey on the brakes right there. I saw Cone get murdered. Absolutely, yeah. But great pass by Stephen Cooley, keeping contact out of the issue. And Jacqueline has rejoined this battle. If you look behind, he's now there under a second. And here comes Hardy as he gets out of the way. And hello, number 42's back.
As they go into Mulsanne corner for the final time, there is some contact and Hardy cuts the inside of the corner. That I think is going to be a slowdown. 3 wide for the lead.
3 wide for the lead. Carl Hardy got to the inside after that back rear tap by Cooley. And Jacqueline has taken advantage of that and moved up into the lead. Great awareness by Jacqueline. Hopefully they don't go side by side once again going to Indianapolis. And Hardy might try something right here. He's on the back end of Jacqueline. Might try to back off if they try to go side by side through Indianapolis once again and try to make that move. Yep, he's backing off right now. So that first corner coming into Indianapolis, they actually rethink that. Cooley went a little bit later, softer on the brakes, had a little bit of a jump to Jacqueline, but not the best exit for him. Coming into Argos. Homage, sorry. No moves being made. It's time to regain yourselves on this straight coming into the Porsche curves. I would say the most important section on track with the weight transfer and everything else. But this is where you set up your moves for the win. Jacqueline, Cooley, Hardy. Hope you guys are ready. So here comes Cooley around the outside. Technically inside, but now it's going to be the outside. Jacqueline regains it. Cooley got onto the brakes, and Hardy might have a little shot to get on Cooley. We saw a little bit incidents on the first lap with a little bit of weight transfer problems as they're heading into the Corvette curves right here. So hopefully that does not affect anything with the little tank slapper.
Oh, you called it. And Steve Cooley with a massive crash.
Oh. Well, if there's a time to say commentators curse in your debut stream, that is the time to do it.
And Jacqueline then, apparently, will survive to get the win.
Just 2 more corners to go. Don't flip the car. And your winner of the race, it is Carl Jacqueline for year one racing. Carl Hardy finishing second and Martin Sampson in third.
I mean, I wanted to tell you in the pre-race, and then I forgot that Steve is noted for some of the biggest crashes in this series history. And don't forget, when you see his crash again later, he drives in VR. So spare a thought for him, because that was quite a big one, as we try to get a replay of that.
As somebody who's flipped a car in real life on the racetrack, I can tell you it hurts. We're running on board with Stephen Cooley right now, just losing the back end, had that tank slapper in one flip. Stuck the landing though.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, he got P6, so...
Yeah.
So...
Still finished. The car looks like a wreck. It's missing a few bits. Not that it won't bump out, but he does finish in P6. We're looking at the battle for 12th right now.
I tell you what, the race is not over.
Yeah, the race is definitely not over. We still have a few cars.
No. The race is not over at all. We got fooled by the time. This is the final lap of the race. So apologies on my behalf for misleading you, Austin, into thinking this was the final lap. It wasn't, apparently.
Move for fourth. Andy Maxwell on the inside of Cessford. Oh, Cessford had to jump the curb, and ergo, no, Maxwell had to jump the curb, and ergo Cessford running away with it. I believe that might have been a penalty for Maxwell. If that what I really kind of wish that was the last lap because that was very dramatic.
Yeah.
The battle between Samson and Jacqueline is not really anymore. Oh no! Rivette! He's in the gravel, laid on the brakes, spun way out of there.
Oh, that was Scott Malcolm. That was Scott Malcolm hitting the wall. Let's see. So that is on the left side. That is Rivette. So they are 3 wide. Did they make contact? Oh, he's appeared. Oh, bad luck.
And he gets some contact on the inside, trying to turn in there, and just had to lock up the brakes, going 1,000 miles into those tire barriers.
Yeah, he has been noted in the past to have some internet issues, and that is sadly, I think, what was going on there. That contact with poor Scott Malcolm. Absolutely not having the best of luck as of late. In Watkins Glen Race 3 was starting from pole, he blew the engine entering the first corner, which could have been a good points all for him. And now I think Giacoletti is good for the lead, but Samson and Hardy all to play for second place.
Yeah, Hardy has a bit of front end damage, so that's going to hurt his top end speed, as Samson's going to pass him up onto the inside. So they're actually just going to have a little bit of drag race. Jacqueline holding that inside line, probably giving Samson a little bit of a push. So they're going side by side, 2 by 2, and here comes Hardy. On what should be the last lap.
Yes. Well, if the new format keeps in effect for the second and third race, we should have a lapped four lap race in second and third race. So less chance to make a mistake.
Yeah, definitely a less chance to make a mistake. As now Samson on Hardy, trying to gain that draft advantage going into Indianapolis. We're going right on the back of Hardy. As here comes Samson going to the right side, driver's left, almost outside the entire shot. We're going to switch over to the TV view. 79 versus 3635 back end kicking out as they're entering the Porsche curves. Oh, I don't want to say it, but keep it smooth through here, as Maxwell just had a little bit of an incident. But we're not going to look at that right now. Jacqueline leading them off, going into the Corvette curves. Keep it clean, keep it nice, keep it in control. Samson setting up a move on Hardy. They're coming into the 4 chicanes. Here comes Samson. Oh, he sold him a dummy though. Hardy laid on the brakes, trying to make a mistake, as Jacqueline now this time drifts it around the final corner and takes the win. As, oh no, Hardy's gone into the gravel. Yeah, he did come off track.
Oh, wow.
Crash. That's Brown. That's Brown and Stevens.
Stevens going backwards, and so is Jazz Banks. So it's 2 pro drivers and an AM driver. Banks' car really looking very, very damaged. as other drivers are coming through. James Lawton, also for the new OSL HCon Racing, finishes in front of his teammate, the pro driver Wouter van Essen. Bennison is coming. Let's see if Stevens can finish the race. He's using an alternative route, I think, and will get a massive penalty for that because he basically sped and cut. Okay. So let's get maybe if we can get a replay of what happened there, because that was a massive crash. So this was a bit too late. See, they were basically 4 wide.
It's just turning in. Banks onto the inside, turn into them. They had the inside. Banks just had to do a correction and bounce off to the side of him. And just caused all that massive chaos as we see Stevens, after bumping their car, returning to the pit lane as the battle for 20th is still going on right now.
Oh, Malcolm and Rivette once again, after their very unfortunate contact earlier, I think. Well, first of all, congratulations to both of them for bringing their cars home. I don't think that Alex is going to make a move on Scott, given that they had contact with each other, and is very gentlemanly letting Scott finish in front of him. So Scott will finish in 20th, and Alex Rivette will be 21st.
This is a good gesture. Good gesture.
And it's not like Alex did that on purpose. Of course, it's it was an unfortunate contact due to a connection issue. So,
oh yeah.
But still, very good sportsmanship for And then Scott, of course, is one of the most respected drivers, a veteran driver of the series. And now we are waiting for Alan Toon to finish the race, even though I think he will not have the time to finish his lap because the timer is ticking down. So as soon as the session moves over, we should give you the final race results. As Steve Cooley is having a
I didn't mention this at the start. Carl Jacqueline moved up 22 places to take the win.
Yes, absolutely. You are absolutely right in making us notice this. As you can see on the left side of your screen, the biggest mover of the race, without a doubt, and the winner of the race. So, I mean, he was absolutely on fire in this first race, and he played his cards right. I think that, you need a bit of luck, but also racecraft, and he showed both of them. And was a very well deserved winner in this first race of 3, as Alan Toon is getting some nice camera time as we wait for him to come home. As I was reading through the chat, and Steve Cooley is having a bit of a laugh about his crash. He just rolled just a little.
Just a smatter roll. You still finished in 11th, so that's respect on you. You finished the race after rolling it. Achievement unlocked. This is not Xbox.
As that seems like Alan will be able to close his lap down. And so, of course, let's also keep an eye. It should be the final car on the lead lap, which means that there will be 22 cars eligible for our reverse grid, which is due to come in just a second, as Alan is taking the fourth chicane for the final time, and that will be that for the race. And in just a second, we shall give you the final race results for race 1. And here we go.
There we are. Here we are. Had the final race results. Carl Jacqueline takes the win by 2 seconds ahead of Carl Hardy. They're followed on the podium with Martin Sampson. He's followed by Graham Sesford, Andy Maxwell, Russell Davis, Anthony Ainsworth, James Lawton, Winter Van Austin, Dale Bennison, Steve Cooley, Christian Brown, Jess Banks, John Moore, Edward May, Ben Sharp, Terry Miles, David Ayres. A little bit of a refresh right there. Kip Stevens, Scott Malcolm, Alex Rivette, Alan Toon, Mark Westwood, Nick McPherson, Steve Hainsworth, Charles Kellyman, and Brian Holmes. These guys are a bit lapped down. And following Brian is Ashley Beard, Jamie Ayers, Jack Ashton, Tyler Maxson, Ryan Oliver, and Mikey Key.
So we have 23 cars actually eligible for the reverse because Mark Westwood is the first and only guy one lap down. You need to be at least one lap down or better to be eligible for the reverse grid. And the reverse grid should be on your screens right now. And the rules are the usual rules of the BSR MX5 Monday Cup. So we have each number corresponding to the number of cars that will be reversed. -1 will be the full grid -1. Of course, the full grid of the eligible cars, while if we get -2, -3, and -4, it will be a full reverse regardless. So, let's roll it. Your first ever reverse grid, Austin, so...
I don't see it.
Yeah. You're not supposed to see it. It's going to be full -1, which means our pole sitter for race 2 is going to be Alan Toon in 20 seconds. So poor Mark Westwood gets the short end of the stick. Alan Toon will start in pole. Alex Rivette, Scott Malcolm, then Kip Stevens is a pro driver, so he will start from the back regardless. David Ayers, Terry Miles, Ben Sharp, Edward May, John Moore, and all the rest of the drivers on your screen in reverse order. So this will be your starting order for race 2. And honestly, I cannot wait. I don't think I've ever seen MX5s race around this track or commentated on them, but Austin, that was quite the entertaining race 1, and we have 2 more left.
And all I can say is I hope you guys have the popcorn ready. If you don't have popcorn, go make some, because this is a blast.
Awesome. So, we will be back after this commercial break. Don't go away.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Captain. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome back to the BSR MX5 Monday Cup here at Le Mans for round 2 of 3. The grid has been reversed. We had 32 cars in the first race. It has dropped down to 25, but it is reverse grid with Alan 2 starting on pole, with Alex Rivette starting in second, Scott Malcolm, they're followed by David Ayers, Terry Miles, Ben Sharp, Edward May, John Moore, Jez Banks, Steve Cooley, Dale Bennison, James Lawton, Anthony Ainsworth, Russell Davis, Andy Maxwell, Graham Sesford, Martin Sampson, Carl Hardy, Carl Jacklett, last race winner. And then we had a few lapped cars last time, and they're going to be starting in the same order with Mark Westford, Sean Hansford, Charles Kellyman, Kip Stevens, Christian Brown, and Wooten von Essen. Now, is Mark things to look out for? Last race winner Carl Jacklett came up from nearly the back end of the grid to win the race. Might try to do the same thing. Also, Stephen Cooley had a little bit of a flipping incident coming through the Corvette curves. Definitely look for them to try to correction there and go back up through the field. Jez Banks, also great mover, caught up in an incident as well as ever made. They set fast times in qualifying, but both of the times they were invalidated. Anyone else you want to look out for?
You know, I'd say we can keep an eye out for I think Ben Sharp. David Ayers always a dangerous driver, you know, and I mean Jacqueline will want to get some positions back. Let's see how Alan Toon approaches what I think it's his first ever pole position in BSR competition.
Alright, well, as they're entering the forward chicanes, coming up here, the safety car going slowly to grid everyone back up. Ladies and gentlemen, the jets are flying, the engines are revving, the adrenaline is pumping, and we're getting ready to let these guys run wild here in Le Mans. So Aston having a little bit of off-track excursion right there. He's going to be dictating the pace through the first chicane. And coming up to the second, it's time. Oh no! A little bit of a tap. Alex Toon already brake shed tapped Alex Rivette, and Rivette's going to jump him on the start. I believe that was a little gentleman let back right there, but that was a disastrous start right there as they're all letting wild. Already contact as well in the background. Some people have a little bit of bump run, but four wide in the background on the back end field as they're entering the Dunlop curve and coming to the chicane. Look at Ayers going up the inside. Oh no, Toon gets spun around by Sharp. Toon is a sitting duck right there. Hopefully he doesn't reverse. Doesn't reverse into a car is what I was about to say, but that was unfortunate. I believe that was Hansford that came into him.
James Lawton is the car that was, hit. I think, because that was a big mess. But what the hell happened there? I think that maybe Alan, not having the experience, starting from pole position, he was afraid of jumping the start, and he braked a bit too much. Alex Rivette wasn't expecting this. And we've got basically an accordion effect, and in the end the group already a little bit split up as they go for the first time on the backstretch.
First time on the backstretch is always the most messy part, especially going into the first chicane. We see Rivette has a massive lead ahead of Sharp as we see David Ayers swinging to the outside. Is going to try to have a little bit of a drag race going to the first chicane, but Ayers making that look nice. So we're gonna approach the chicane right now. Ayers first on the brakes, but look at Sharp sending it up the inside. And with all the control he can, keeps the MX5 very planted down and keeps second place. But Ayers gonna have way more opportunities than that.
Oh, Scott Malcolm, big crash, big hit with Mark Westwood. What a big mess.
Alright, so what's happened here? It's going up the inside. Scott Malcolm. Great face right there. Oh, I just lost the back end.
So the run of bad luck continues for Scott Malcolm there. Another race, another crash. And he has got a long way to go if he wants to go to the pits, get a fast repair, and finish at least only, one lap down to be eligible for the reverse grid in race 3.
Yeah, race 3, also reverse grid of this reverse grid, so it's a reverse grid of the reverse grid from the original grid. If you follow that, congrats. But Alex Rivette leading by 2.4 seconds ahead of Ben Sharp and David Ears and Edward May, as well as Stephen Cooley, who is involved in this. And look at Ears! Laid on the brakes, lifted off late, has to go off track. That's an off-track penalty right there. But Sharp and May getting ahead of Ears after that braking zone. And once again, Cooley moved up 5 places to get up there. But someone to look at is Graham Sesford, moved up 8 places. He's the biggest mover so far in the field.
He's got quite a queue behind him, so we'll keep an eye on that, but let's focus on this fight for second place and backwards. Or trying to get close to Rivette, and they need to sort themselves out because they are doing Rivette a big favor by fighting this hard this early.
Rivette also has that front end damage. They don't have the top line speed that these guys do. And I believe, May also has some front end damage and rear end damage. He's been bumped and rubbed all over the place, so he really wants to stay up here for that Fury card. I believe this is the first time we've actually raced MX5s on the full Le Mans circuit.
In this series, yes, it's the first time. I think maybe surely the Pro Series did it in the past, but for the Amateur Cup is the first time. And of course tomorrow, same day, same place, same time, we are going to have the BSR Pro Series here.
Look at this pack. That's some great pack racing right now. You get that as they're approaching the Porsche curves. Oh, Jack Litt running wide. Last race winner already up into P9. That's 10 places up from when they started. And Jack Litt is on a roll. Let's rejoin the battle for a second. We're on board with Ben Sharp, looking backwards at Edward May. Coming in to the 4 chicanes. They're probably going to keep it a bit gentleman-like going through here. But Edward May closing in on Sharp through each corner. Also, don't count out Ears. David might try something as they're coming back on the front straight and flying on for lap 2 of 4. They're headed through the Dunlop curve right now. They've caught up to Rivette. Gap between them is 0.6 seconds. So that second lead that they had after that accordion effect at the start pretty much died down. Was a very relaxing start for Rivette if you count out the damage to his front nose. We're looking at Sampson and Davis right now going to the Dunlop chicane. Davis defending from Sampson. Sampson looking like he might try to set up a run through the S's coming onto the chicane, but honestly, I think he's just going to sit back there and wait for the straight. Speaking of the straight, here we are with Rivette, Sharp, and May. The leaders have been reunited. And they're actually leaving David Ears behind them in this massive slipstream battle. That's going to be very hurtful for him. As you see, Rivette and May doing a little tandeming right there, as teammates should do. It's 4 laps, not 5. 5-minute laps around here. That's why the lap count is so low. As we see Rivette, that's May going on to the outside. They've actually boxed Rivette in there. And Rivette getting a little bit of argy-bargy, not want to be boxed in like a house cat. He pushes himself back up to P2 and pushes May out down into P3.
That's going to be a slowdown for May, side by side for the lead once again.
I don't really see May having anywhere to go after that. So, but he's definitely going to have a slowdown for that incident. As now, Rivette and Sharp, drag race, coming down to the chicane. Stop me if you heard this one before. Rivette v. Sharp. Sharp's got the speed up onto the inside. Sharp late on the brakes, softer on the brakes. They both got onto the same time. He dabbed a little bit on the brakes going to the second part of that chicane. That should promote Rivette to try to get a good run off them. And it looks like he already has the speed to get up and pass him going into the last corner. Now, where will Sharp defend? Will he go onto the inside or will he go onto the outside? Looks like Rivette's choosing that inside line. Side by side they go once more. Racing hard, but Sharp's giving him all the room he needs as, ooh, looks like Rivette tried to cut off the nose, and Sharp's got a great run on him. And they're meeting onto the chicane. They're almost bump drafting. Hello, Mazda. That's a great front grille. Get out of that camera, please. Sharp all over the mirrors as Rivette started to teleport all over the place. We saw that happen last race, which caused a massive crash on the back straight, I believe. And Sharp gets past Rivette onto the inside. As we see Rivette getting back onto the back end of Sharp, almost trying to do a little bit of bump trapping, but as they're approaching Indianapolis, they're still side by side. Here goes Rivette, sending it onto the inside, but look at Sharp with the switchback, might try to fight it back, but Rivette has the advantage going to the corner. Look at David Ears. He's also with them. Sharp very early on the brakes. Going to try to go for another switchback on Rivette as, oh no, that's Yes Banks. That's Jez Banks into the wall. That's that's the bonnet off the car. And Rivette and Sharp still continuing to this tandem drag racing, approaching the Porsche curbs, which have been deadly in the first race. We saw a few cars flip over. We saw a few cars just get massive spin out. And you can lose it on your own. You can lose it in a pack. And these guys are in a pack right now. So hopefully they keep it clean through here. But hopefully they don't loose it up on each other. As we see Rivette going around the outside on Sharp. It's all four of these guys making their way through the Porsche curves. Approaching the Corvette curves. These are the dangerous ones.
Oh, here we go.
No, David Ears. That's David Ears. It's gone wide. Oh no, Anthony Ainsworth is looking so good from the start. That was his car being sent.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
That is Carl Jacolet. What the hell is going on in this final part of the first lap?
They've DNF'd. They're out.
See if we can get a better view from maybe. So someone lost it there. Okay, that was.
Someone else lost it ahead of him.
Yeah.
And that's the car rejoining the track.
Oh.
And that's a punt.
Maybe from on board we can get a better perspective.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a barf bag, get it right now because I think you're about to be sick.
Dear me. So,
ouch.
Yeah, let's. So David Ayres in the end, by missing that corner, got lucky because he was able to slow down and avoid all that mess, and he's still in third place. Ben Sharp is in first, and Steve Cooley is in second. Then.
Yeah, Cooley got up there. He actually appeared out of nowhere, and Cooley's now up in second. But what the heck just happened? After that second lap chaos, if you look at the minimap, there's cars just all over the pit lane. I believe we have 18 cars that haven't been involved in that, and they're still on the lead lap. But there's definitely a lot of bump and running happening on right there. As we're looking down at Cooley's, he's trying to chase down Sharp with David Ears right behind. We see Rivette all the way back there. Rivette lost a lot of positions after we looked away from there, so I don't know what's happened to him. Oh, it's certainly very crazy.
He's having some issues with his car. See, his lines are not very smooth. Certainly, that hit he had at the very beginning of the race is not helping his handling at all.
Yeah, the handling is definitely affected as we rejoin everybody into the first chicane. That is Hardy and Bennison. Bennison all over the back end of Hardy through the chicane. We see Hansford also in that massive train of cars. It looks like a bobsled team as all of them get behind each other. But as they're all fading out, look at the speed that Brown has on him. Brown's going to try to make it 3 wide and set up to the inside. Yes, it is. Brown up 4 positions in between 2 corners. Can he hold him off into the chicane? So they all go onto the brakes. Oh no! Bennison's got turned.
Contact with Water Van Essen. You can see it here. Not a lot of contact, but just enough to turn around a Year 1 racing car. At the same time, side by side for 3rd place, Rivette moves up and goes past David Ayers. So now Fury Sim Sport in 1st, Cooley, Rivette, Ayers for Year 1 and result. I think David will come back to his opponent here.
Well, he has 1.5 laps left to go, or 1.25 really. This is Le Mans. It is a massive track. 5-minute lap times. You have about 7 minutes of time to bring back that gap as Ears going around the outside of Rivette, and he's gained that position immediately back. But now that puts all control into Rivette's right there, but Rivette also having that car control issue as he's onto that curb, and Ears gave him the room, but he was very loose as they head into Indianapolis. Rivette on the inside. Is he going to try to send one? He thought about it, but he kept that inside line. Very gentleman racing between these two as Ears gains the advantage as they're approaching the Porsche curves. Ears defending on that outside. Rivette has to run onto the inside. Here comes that first left-hander, that long, dangerous left-hander. And we see catch a few people out. Oh, Ears got onto the brakes a little bit early, slipping behind a Rivette. Rivette having that handling problem might be a little crutch for him. And hopefully Ears knows about that so he can avoid it if possible. We saw Ears go extremely wide right here on the first lap to second lap to avoid what was going to be. Oh, he had it again.
Oh!
Back. Oh.
Good save, but lost a lot of time to Alex Rivette.
Oh yeah, that speed just went straight down the gutters. We look at the battle for 7th right now with Hardy, Brown, and Sessford. They're all on that exit into the Corvette curves and approaching the Ford chicane. Look behind them though. You see 2 guys battling with each other as they're fanning 3 wide into the Fords as, oh, that was Brown going into the pits.
Yeah. No, I think it's Sessford is going into the pits.
These pit lanes weird.
Yeah, it is weird, very, very weird. So this is for real this time in this race, the white flag. So let's see, Ben Sharp comfortably, dare I say, in the lead 7 seconds over Steve Cooley. You can see him here.
Alex kick it back on the back straight, drive with one wrist and drink a beer at the same time. I wouldn't recommend it, but he could do it.
So Rivette is in 3rd. David Ayers is in 4th, and Martin Sampson quietly 12 places gained over the first of the pro drivers. It is Skip Stevens, who is sitting in 6th in front of Brown, another pro driver.
Yeah, both pro drivers moving up 17 places from where they started. And I believe they're about to have a little bit of battle as we look back for the battle for 10th between Lanton, Maxwell, and Mansford. These guys approaching out of the S's and coming onto the straight as Alex Rivette's falling down the field.
Yeah, he's having some issues. I think he got connection issues or computer issues, dropping down significantly down to P6.
Yeah, there's some moves up front right now. So we look at the battle for 3rd. Sampson gets ahead of David Ayers. He goes late on the brakes, approaching the first chicane. Taking it safely is David Ayers right behind. He might just try to set up a safe move or just be settled for 4th. As we look back at Maxwell, and Hansford, and Lawson for the battle for P10. Maxwell gets a jump on him. He goes extremely late on the brakes. whereas Maxwell was extremely early, and he cuts the entire corner. That's 4 wheels off, and that's probably a slowdown penalty, which he's serving right now. We look at the battle for third. There's Rivette on the inside of Stevens. He's looking at Ivor, but at David, but once again, his car just flickering all over the place. That's a 666 car. David Ayers slotting beside of Samson as Rivette's getting all over his back end. This pack of 4 is where the fight is. The battle for first is pretty much all and set and done unless something incredibly dangerous happens. Hopefully I'm not commentating cursing anyone. That was me knocking on wood. As we see Samson and Ayers look at Rivette up the inside. He's going to try to kick 2 cars in one corner. As, oh no, Samson and Ayers get into each other. As Samson was making moves, a little bit of love tap. As Stevens now takes third. As Rivette, I think, caused that by disappearing onto the inside, scaring Samson, which put himself into Ayers. We'll look at the replay right now. Here comes Ayers. Side by side, Rivette just appears out of nowhere, and I think that just scared Samson just a little bit to give him room up to the inside, and that put Stevens up into P3.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that is exactly what happened. 3 wide, a car disappears on the inside. It is quite a scary proposition.
Well, first, you don't know where the guy is, or Spot doesn't know where he is, and then he appears out of nowhere and says, hello, can I have a cookie? And then next thing you know, you're in the wall. Thankfully, Rivette is a gentleman, and he gave those 2 positions back. But that puts Stevens...
Oh no! Samson is around
no,
into
Samson!
the wall. Into the
Oh,
wall.
Just a little bit too rough on the corner exit. He spins up the tires, something you can actually do in an MX5 Cup car. A lot of people say these cars don't have enough power, but they can turn around if you are not ready for it. As he's going to hopefully keep his car outside of the racing line and out of trouble as we return to your leader, leading by 10 whole seconds. And to Stephen Cooley, Ben Sharp. Hopefully doesn't get a tank slapper through here in the Corvette curves. And now approaching the Ford chicane. Pretty much dominated this race, moving up 5 places, but he's led it very well from the start after that lap 2 incident. One last corner to go. Winner of race 2, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ben Sharp. We look back at the
Yes, Stevens moving to the pits. Yeah, as per usual, he always does that on the final lap, being a pro driver and the organizer of the league. So Cooley is in second, and David Ayers should get third.
It's getting very dicey. He might have a little bit of a lunge for the inside, but no, it's going to be David Ayers taking P3 ahead of Rivette. We look back at the battle for 9th between Maxwell, Hansford, and Lawton. These 3 have been battling throughout most of the time. One chicane to go. Hansford getting a little bit loose right there. Maxwell and Lawton having a little bit of battle of their own. They're headed to the line, but it's going to be Hansford taking ahead of Lawton for P10. Looking at the battle for 16th right now. Banks v. Davis coming out of the curves, but I believe that they're just going to let each other by. And, yeah, looks like Davis is going extremely slow, so that wasn't pretty much of a battle to look onto. But Ears has a red flag as we look at the...
No, he's doing donuts in the gravel, so... all good.
Okay. All right, but that's Ben Sharp. These guys certainly having a little bit of a smoke fest right there. Hashtag Vape Nation. You guys can join in at the front if you do that, but these guys definitely spinning up the rear tires, saying that yes, you can do donuts in an MX5 Cup car. But Ben Sharp definitely earning these donuts. As we have a message from Russell Davis, he did have a slowdown penalty. As well, joining him is Rivette. And they kiss each other.
As we are waiting for a few drivers to come home, I think we have everyone home safely, more or less.
Yeah, more or less. We did have a massive collision at the end of that, but hey, pretty much post-race, they could settle it out like men. We have Scott Malcolm, Alan Toon, and Charles Kellyman just finishing up their laps.
Yeah. So we're waiting for these three drivers.
Fastest lap of the race was Ben Sharp with a 4:58.91. Absolute demolished that track in time. Biggest mover was Wotan van Essen, moving up 19 places from when he started. The first race winner, we are not going to have a repeat with Jacqueline after their incident with that car being punted by a squirrel. But yeah, Steve Cooley, first Monday night, and it's a podium. Congrats to Steve Cooley.
Finally, after, lots and lots of tough races, he gets his first podium in the series. So congratulations to Steve. And, after that big crash that he had in race 1. So, whilst drivers take their parade laps, let's go through the official results for race 2.
The results are standing up. It's Ben Sharp standing on top of the podium. He's joined by Steve Cooley and David Ayers up there. As they're behind him, it's Alex Rivette, who had a tough start after that brake check at the start, or just nervous starting by Toon. I believe Toon is apologized for that. But it is Alex Rivette, followed by Carl Hardy, Wotan van Essen, Christian Brown, Andy Maxwell, Steve Hansford, James Lawton, Dale Bennison, Terry Miles, John Ward, Edward May, Jez Banks, Marcel Davis, Martin Sampson, and Carl Gillette. And behind them is Graham Sessward, Anthony Ainsworth, Scott Malcolm, Alan Toon, Kip Stevens, Charles Kellyman, and Mark Westwood.
Perfect. We have 23 cars eligible for the reverse, even though Kip Stevens technically will not be eligible being a pro driver, but for all intents and purposes, we have 23 cars that can, opt to be on pole position for race 2. Here we go with the race reverse grid wheel. Should be on your screens right now. So, let's roll it. Remember, you can send payments to my PayPal account to rig the reverse wheel if you want.
Or mine to give you biased commentary.
It is going to be 16 this time around, which means that Russell Davis will be your pole sitter. He will start in front of Jess Banks, Edward May, John Moore, and Terry Miles. This will be your top 5 in the third and final race of the night. Austin, I once again cannot wait. And so we will be back here on Apex Racing TV in just a few moments' time. After this commercial break, don't go away.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome back for round 3 of the BSR MX5 Monday Cup here at the circuit of Le Mans, the full course. And here for the 3rd time today, I am Austin. I am joined by Marco, and we are going to have a great time. The grid has been reversed, and Russell Davis has won his way up into the pole. He's followed by Jez Banks, Edward May, John Moore, Terry Miles, Dale Bennison, James Lawton, Steve Hansford, Andy Maxwell, Carl Hardy, David Ayers, Steve Cooley, Ben Sharp, Martin Sampson, Carl Jacqueline, Graham Sessford, Andy Ainsworth, Scott Malcolm, Alan Toon, Charles Kellyman, Mark Westwood, Kip Stevens, Christian Brown, and Wouter Van Essen up at the end. The grid started at 33 cars, and now we're down to 24 for our final race here today. I hope you guys are ready to get going, because it's certainly an amazing time that's going to happen. These guys are coming through the Porsche one last time. Marco, what should we look out for?
Well, hopefully we have a clean start this time around, and hopefully for the after 3 races, they will take it very easy when they come back to this particular part of the track, you know, in the next few laps, because that has been certainly the trouble spot in both race 1 and race 2.
Race 1, race 2 also had massive incidents, and whoever sat on pole did not finish in the race, as that massive roar of the jets feels the air of sound. The safety car is getting ready to pull off. Gasoline smells fill the air. The revs fill the airways. And the adrenaline sure is pumping. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are ready, because we're about to go green here in Le Mans. And remember, in race 2, we had that incident at the start where it's a massive according effect. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We're looking on at Russell Davis, the pole sitter. He told me before the race that he's not looking to start on pole as he flicks the car around. And we are going green, green, green in Le Mans. And already immediately look in the background, 2 by 2 they go, and John Moore gets a jump on Terry Miles. Very clean start as they're heading through the Dunlop curve. Jez Banks looking up the inside into there as they're approaching the Dunlop chicane, and out of nowhere, Edward May! Where did May come from? May side by side with Davis. Davis holding on to the inside, and May slingshots himself up into P3.
What a
move by Edward May.
Absolutely fantastic. Great stuff there.
Great move as they're flying all over the place. Coming into the S's. Russell Davis under pressure by Jez Banks. Jez looking to the inside. We're riding on board with them right now as they're flying down that long back straight. 4 laps of this 5-minute a lap circuit. So this is going to be the most amazing 20 minutes you'll see today. Banks closing in on the back of Davis. They're going to swing to the inside. Side by side they go. I wouldn't be surprised if Banks actually lifts off right here and tries to force Davis into his mistake as they're actually going to fill up that rearview mirror into the chicane. We saw Miles actually backing off way too early. Thought there was going to be a position as they're going 4 wide back there. What? Keep it clean through that first chicane, boys. Is that a Samson going off the track? I think that was Samson going off the track right there to avoid a collision, but everyone made it through the first chicane very thankfully and very easily. We're looking back from David Banks onto David Banks from Jez Banks from Russell Davis. As Banks once again looking up the inside. They have the speed this time. They're side by side. Banks gets the jump on them. We also see in the background of Miles and Moore going up there. And yes, it is a 1-2. Edward May, there's a massive collision. That's Benetton getting hit and tagged in the back.
Yeah, you see the damage on the front end of the Year 1 racing car there, so he clipped, I think, the rear end of James Lawton, as now he is trying once again to get in the slipstream as they go into Mulsanne corner, as we switch back to the fight for, well, the podium positions.
Yeah, top 3 all in their own little group. They have a 2-second gap to Miles, who's right behind them, but we saw what happened. Gaps sometimes don't matter as they're heading into this tight right-hander. We saw Davis looking up to the inside, but he backed off very early as they're going all over the crazy. We got a car spinning around. That is number 20. That is
Graham Sesford.
Sesford. Yeah, that's Sesford. He's spun all the way around. Thankfully kept his car out of trouble for the most part, but it certainly did cause a massive hoopla right there.
Yeah, car is okay. You see the steering was straight, so he lives to fight another day, but of course now a massive, massive uphill climb for him in this third race of the night.
Speaking of massive uphill climb, May and Banks battling side by side, and here comes Davis trying to squeeze his way. It looked like he tried to make that 3 wide, and I was about to scream no through this commentary box. I don't know if he would hear it, but oh my goodness, that was scary. Making the way through Indianapolis right now. Banks, May, and Davis, all 3 of them leading off ahead of Miles, Moore, Lawton, Benson, Hanser, Sharp, Maxwell. I'm just going to stop right there. But they're all so close to each other. Speaking of close, look how close May is to Banks. Almost giving him a little bit of friendly bump draft right there. And here comes May. Side by side, giving each other so much room as they're approaching the Porsche curves. It's kind of peaceful seeing all these guys from these TV cameras, but when you're in the car, you see that these guys are all flat out right there.
Oh dear, Terry Miles is around. Hopefully he's the only one. He needs to be very careful if he wants to come back on the racetrack, and he does so good job, but once again, This time, luckily, only one car,
Oh,
but...
Maze!
Oh.
That is off track as well as Davis. They rejoin each other through the exit of the Corvette curves and approaching the Ford chicane. Banks ahead of May. May and Banks battling with each other, and Davis fallen
Oh, he got a
victim to that
slowdown. I think he has a slowdown. Yep.
Yeah, he fell victim to that. And now that promotes Moore and everyone else into this battle for third place. But it really is between Moore. Oh, wait. There's a car that's gone way off. That is a Lawton.
Yeah. Did he get any help? Let's see. Oh, no, he had a slowdown, you see? He had a slowdown. So, did he move out of the way? Or was it also, you know...
I got tapped.
Yeah.
Got hooked.
Okay, back to the front, more or less. As you can see, all sorts of stuff going on. Oh, no! Jacolette and Maxwell, the two former teammates, they have hooked each other, and now Maxwell is around. So, yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff happening. Back to the front with Jess Banks under big pressure from his teammate Edward May, but now they have almost 7 seconds over John Moore in third place.
Yeah, this is a very good time, especially for their team. 1-2, as we look at Cooley, he's spun. Stephen Cooley spun, stopped on the middle of the track. He's not reversing on track. That is thinking smart and thinking very competitively to exit without any consequences. As we look at that massive train behind Banks and May, as these two are just tandeming with each other. We see Moore breaking the draft with Davis and Benison right behind him. So as these two are heading into the chicane, it's them by a mile. 6 seconds to Jonathan Moore and Russell Davis. These guys are heading to the first chicane, coming out of there just nicely. Davis on Moore. Davis might try to make something, but these guys are 2x2 right now. Noah's arcing and having a very nice draft battle. Oh, we got a crash. Graham Sessford's out.
Yes, we do. Let's try and cut away from the action for just a second.
Sessford right there in the middle of the thick of it.
He already had some big damage there. Huh?
Yeah.
Then he
just
completed.
lost on his own.
Yeah, but I think he crashed already earlier, trying to find where. Well, this will be. Maybe we'll look at that later because the race is still going on for first place and also behind the two leaders.
May and Banks once again swapping positions, pulling away from Davis and Moore. 7.8 seconds, almost 9 seconds for these two. They started in the front, and these guys are going great right now. They both exit that corner without any drama. Speaking of drama, let's go back. They're going 2x2 in this massive pack. Who's going to make the moves right here? Look at that. Carl Hardy right now. As there's a lot of car collision right now. That's Malcolm bouncing off the side of Ainsworth. Returning back to the lead between May and Banks. These guys, oh, they look like they're having a peaceful Monday night drive, but I don't think it's gonna be very peaceful very soon. I expect on lap 4 if this continues, it might get a bit dicey between the two. But currently, we're keeping it very friendly.
Yes, they are. As they keep on moving now through Arnage. Braking and turning right, clipping the curb. I gotta be careful when you go on the outside because that tire barrier is very, very close, and at the same time, behind them, Ben Sharp and Russell Davis. You know, Russell Davis had that penalty. That was too bad because now he got involved in this battle here, and of course that is not ideal when you're trying to fight for the win. Now it's going to be very tough for him. I think he's gotta try to stay behind these guys or in this pack and then maybe go for a podium position come the end of the race.
Yeah, he's going to try to go for the podium, making it an all-Fury podium, which would be very, very happy for those guys as they're heading into the Porsche curves. And Sharp is actually pulling away from the field right now. He's dragging Davis along with him, but he's just so smooth through here. He doesn't have to worry about anyone else behind him. Ben Sharp moving up 10 positions. He is on a roll. Oh! There's a massive crash. That's Hansford. Steve Hansford, I believe that was somebody else with him. That might have been Carl Hardy involved in that incident.
Oh,
Oh
no!
my goodness. It's a massive hit. See Carl Hardy on the back of Hansford. Yep. He just got into the back of him.
So great avoiding by Son, but then he moves back into, you know, pointing in the right way. And I think that was Charles Kellyman, if I'm not mistaken. And we have another flip, so 3 races and 3 flips.
That's 3 for 3 if you had that on your bingo cards. Bingo. So we rejoin back with Edward May leading off Jez Banks and Ben Sharp way back there. But that is going to relieve the pressure on Ben Sharp, who has a 2-second gap behind him now, and it's a Fury 1, 2, and 3.
Chocolate is around in the chicane, I think.
Jacqueline, our first race winner today. That is 2 races in a row. They've been involved in an incident, either a spin or getting punted by a flying squirrel or something. Tough races for Jacqueline, but thankfully they're still on the track.
So 2 laps to go, 1.5 more or less laps to go, as we are into the 11th minute of 15. But you know, due to the way the white flag works, so we're going to have this lap and one more. Once again, these 2 guys, you know, teammates, they have a massive advantage. So they're saying, you know, let's have some fun. Let's you know, pull away, swap draft a bit, and then final lap we will fight it out for the win. I think that is the thought process behind what Jez Banks and Edward May are doing.
Yeah, these 2 are very good teammates, and their other teammate, Ben Sharp, is also right behind him, and he's pulling away a gap as well. I believe this is a open setup series, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is a open setup series, so I believe, as somebody said in the chat, these green cars are definitely faster on the straights. They might be sharing some setup secrets with each other. As these guys have not let up one bit. 107 and 007 coming into the secondary chicane. No changes of guard right there. Ben Sharp still right behind. I think he's actually closing in on them, and he's leaving Russell Davis, Dale Bennison, and Ainsworth way behind, as that gap is now 3.4 seconds. Look back up to the field. May and Banks side by side. Think we might have a little bit of change of guard right there. Yep, Banks up the inside now. And now side by side again they go. I must say, Sharp's been on a great drive, moving up 10 positions, but look at Kip Stevens, the pro driver. He's moved up 13 places.
Absolutely, yes. Kip, of course, one of the veterans of the series, one of the organizers, a star in the Pro Series on Tuesday, so certainly he's having a lot of fun, getting some training for tomorrow and putting on a show, which is always good for us.
Yeah, Kip Stevens always wanted to give a great show as we refocus our attention back to the peaceful dance of the 2 Year 1 Fury cars. And we're going to switch immediately back to the chaotic world of the Battle for 6. Between Malcolm and Ainsworth, side by side, here they go. Around and approaching Indianapolis. Ainsworth sends it way up to the inside, and he gets that right there. Very calm and very easy. And now there's a massive group of cars coming into the slowest corner in all of Le Mans. No drama right there for Ainsworth. A little bit of drama for Malcolm, as Moore was on his outside, but everyone keeping it very nice right there.
Malcolm is desperately needing a good result after the bad luck in race 1 and race 2. Top 10 would be great, but now he's under some big pressure from behind.
Oh yeah, definitely. You see the cars fanning out, trying to see if they have any advantage outside the slipstream. Probably not, But as they're approaching the Porsche cars, this is what decides races. Look in the back. 72 gets overtaken by Kip Stevens.
Oh!
Oh, Hardy once again involved in another incident in the Porsche cars, and he's out. Look back at Moore and Ears. David Ears. He was up near the front last race, and he's down into P10. This race, David moved up one place, so he's been around this massive fight. We got a slow car. That is
30 miles. Yeah, something must have happened. Let's see from the chopper if we can get a better idea of his troubles. The squirrel, as per usual. You know, there's a...
Both cars saw the squirrel.
Yeah. That was Mark Westwood. So, back live, as we have this massive number of cars here, but let's move a little bit in front, because now Malcolm, under pressure from Stevens. By the way, there at the front, May has pulled away 1.3 seconds over Jess Banks. So, he is looking good for the race win. Even
no, May's having an issue.
Yeah, wow, what a commentator's curse. He went wide very quickly. Let's see the replay. But he went wide here. You will see in a second. And almost hit the wall. Let's see.
Oh,
so he clipped the curb on the inside, yeah? Wow. That was very risky. Now all to play for once again for the race win.
All right, now we're on the last lap. White flags waving in the air. Lap 4. The gloves are off between the two teammates. Top 3 is all in the same team. Who's going to take it? Is it going to be Jez Banks, who's now in the lead? Or is it going to be Edward May? Or will both of them have a little unfortunate incident, and will Ben Sharp somehow get into the lead? Put your bets on the table. Send all payments to me. And Malcolm. These guys are having a little draft battle. Banks leading May. May closing in on Banks. May onto the outside. Technically inside. And now May leading Banks. Is May gonna... Yep, May's gonna close him off, shut that door. Now that leaves the door open for Banks. Banks might try to send it up to the inside. Banks get onto the brakes a little bit early. And we see May getting onto the brakes mid-corner. Banks not really onto the brakes that much. That might promote Banks to try to make a move coming up into this right-hander. Now you must remember the #1 rule in any racing, even if it's just sim racing, never hit your teammate. And since all these guys are sharing the same stuff, they would very hit it as May just absolutely murders a cone right there. Thank you, Edward. As they go very safely through there. As Banks goes really wide. Hopefully he doesn't get up a slowdown penalty, but that promotes May into the right seat, hot seat, as they're heading up the smaller straight going into Indianapolis. That is Ben Sharp in the background. Third place as he's also broken away from that massive field. And here comes May up the inside. Hopefully these teammates keep it clean throughout the end. They're side by side. This is going to be one of the closest finishes. This is definitely going to be the closest finish today if they finish like this. Little curve before Indianapolis right now. Oh, Banks cut that corner. I don't believe he has a penalty, but he has fallen down half a second to May. Coming up into the slowest corner here in Le Mans. And trickiest if you're in a MX-15. These cars like to get a little bit loose if you turn it into a very tight corner like that. But these guys have a little bit of drafting battle. Edward May pulling away from Jez Banks. But Jez using the slipstream to their advantage, reeling May back in as they're approaching the Porsche curves.
Will he go for it? Will he keep the foot down? It's going to be tricky. May's in a very good position. I think he's going
to dance around the mirrors a little bit and try to force a mistake from May. But currently, if I was the teammate of the guys at first second, I would keep it there, keep it nice and calm, and try to maybe a little cheeky send into the chicane right here, which is what May's been doing. But Banks not been the most smooth through the Corvette curves, but he's got to run. As I say, that gap is closing down as they're heading into the four chicanes. 0.6 seconds. They're expanding the track as much as they can. Both of them on the same level as they're approaching the first chicane and into the second, and it's gonna be. Oh, I thought we were gonna see a little repeated qualify, but it's gonna be Edward May taking the way with Jez Banks right behind, and Ben Sharp coming across in third. It's a 1, 2, 3 for Fury Year 1 Racing. As I don't know if you saw that car just spewing across. That was Kip Stevens in the pit lane. As there's a lot of contact right now. As that is Scott Malcolm.
Good job
leading
from
out
Scott
this pack.
Malcolm. He held on to 7th place in the end, keeping behind Ainsworth, Sampson, Moore, Ayers. So good job. We have Brown, one of the pro drivers, and he is finishing in front of Terry Miles and behind his teammate Andy Maxwell. Here's Terry Miles in the 15th place. Mark Westwood, all sorts of sideways there. And now slowly but surely all the other drivers will come home as we give some nice camera time to the Fury Sim Sport Academy drivers as they celebrate.
They might have a little three-way donut contest right now.
You gotta be careful, because if all the drivers
Yeah, there we go. That's some good donuts. Congratulations, Edward May, Jez Banks, Ben Sharp, everyone in the Fury Academy. That is up. We see Ainsworth also joining them. Those four guys have been dominating this entire time. What a race! What great start by everyone in the Fury. Russell Davidson is apparently in 5th. I think that was because Kip Stevens just flew across the track at the end.
Yes, he's going to, be getting a penalty post-race when the session becomes official, because certainly he got, a safe pit entrance or something like that. So we are just waiting for Graham Sesford, who is holding on for dear life. Look at that.
Yeah, steering angle is pointed towards the moon.
This is usually a way to flip the car if you're not careful, because if you steer too violently on the opposite side, you could flip it. We have seen it many times. You gotta be careful, because here comes Steve Cooley, his teammate, for the final position in the top 10.
That car is very unstable, almost getting on 2 wheels. He's wiggling all over the place. Keep it steady. This is the very end, and I believe Steven is just going to watch this happen.
Oh, no! The engine. Come on, push him.
He's going to give him a bump and run. Oh, that's bump drafting. That is some great bump drafting right there.
And they make it home safe and sound, more or less.
That is teamwork right there. Bump drafting your teammate. He just blew the engine on the final corner and the very last race. What a race that we've witnessed here today. What great races we saw here today.
Absolutely.
It certainly was very fantastic to watch, and certainly an honor. Here are your results. It's Edward May, Jez Banks, Ben Sharp standing on top of the podium, Fury Sim Sports Academy dancing very happily in their garage. It's a 1, 2, 3 for them. They're followed by Russell Davis, Dale Bennison, Scott Malcolm, Anthony Ainsworth, Martin Sampson, John Moore, David Ears, Carl Jacqueline, Andy Maxwell, Christian Brown, Terry Miles, Fulton Van Assen, Charles Kellyman, James Lawton, Graham Sesford, Steve Cooley, Carl Hardy, Steve Hansford, Kip Stevens, and Alan Toon. There's that lap that Kip Stevens got him after I think he disqualified himself from that incident at the end. But Russell Davis, he's at the end. It said 5th. Official results, he is 4th. But congratulations to the Fury Sim Sport Academy guys. Congrats to Edward May, Jez Banks, and Ben Sharp. They certainly deserved this final racing win. And what a day of great racing we have saw here today.
And we have a massive number of drivers waiting for interviews. So, Austin, I give you the honor of choosing our first driver to interview tonight.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, eeny, meeny, miny, miny. All right.
Ended up stopping.
Oh, hey.
Hello. Sorry.
Hello, Edward. How are you doing?
Oh, doing well. That was certainly exciting few races we had today.
Yeah, it certainly was very exciting for you. That battle with your teammate came down to the very last laps, and were you just playing with each other at the end, or what was going on?
I'd be lying if I said there wasn't like planning going on and behind the scenes in the Free Sim Sport Academy Discord. Yeah, it was good fun. Honestly, it's such a great team drive from everyone involved in that race three. Ben, I think, came from 14th up into third. Joined me and Jez on the podium for race three, and I think Ainsworth managed to get a good charge back up into eighth as well. But yeah, I've just got to say a massive thank you to Jez. Just we got in the draft of each other and just decided, right, let's get in each other's drafts and just get away from everyone behind, and it worked out.
All right. Well, the green cars certainly looked very fast on the straights. Were you two sharing a very similar setup, or
Yeah,
was it-
everyone was sort of on the same set, and we like what we do in Few Sims Academy is just we like to sort of help everyone get up to speed. We all use the same setup. We don't hide anything from each other. We've got great people behind the scenes. Dan Blake's been a great help. He couldn't be here for this race. We've got everyone in the background as well, working behind the scenes. Took a little bit of inspiration as well from Edward Rapraga and his team Mercedes F1. Just doing a great team drive, getting the 1-2.
1, 2, 3?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, yeah, even better.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Ben.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just such a great drive. Shame for me about the first two races. It seems for me this season of BSR is just first two races don't go my way, and then the third race I can come through and win.
Hey, a win's a win, as a lot of people say. Well, congrats on the win in race 3, and thank you for joining us, Marco. Anything you want to add?
Just if before we let him go, if Edward would like to thank someone.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd mainly like to thank sponsors Year One. They make custom flip flops, just any designs they have. I believe they've got clients of the likes of Valtteri Bottas. So if you want nice flip flops, I'd go check them out. And obviously, thank you to everyone in the team, everyone racing today with me, Ben, Jez, and Anthony. Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you, Edward, and we will catch you next week then.
Thank you very much.
So that was Edward May. Let's bring in race 2 winner Ben Sharp, who should be here. Yes, hello Ben.
Oh, hello. You alright?
So podium, of course, now third place, but in race 2 you were the winner. So all in all, I would say a good night of racing for you.
Yeah, very good. A bit disappointed with race one. I just sort of went when everyone else went at the start. We got the penalty. Then I got slowed down, got hit. So race one was a bit of a write-off, and then race two was mega. It's really good racing. And then race three was proper hard work. So really enjoyed tonight.
How
Yeah,
about go ahead.
You moved up 10 spots to get up into P3. Was moving up through the field a very big challenge, especially with your teammates just already off in the distance?
Yeah, I sort of had a really good first lap. I got to fifth or sixth, I think, and then I had a slowdown coming out the last corner. And I had to go back down to like 10th or 11th and then go again, really. But the draft here is mental, and it just happened to work out that as soon as I got one, I was already in the draft for the next one, so they weren't re-catching me back up, so it worked quite well. But yeah, it's really good racing.
It certainly was. Next week, Ulton Park. So feeling confident about that?
Yeah, I really like Alton Park. Actually, I raced in the Honda Civic Cup, and I was on the podium there earlier in the year, so I quite like Oldham Park.
Oh, so you start with some good experience then. Before we let you go, Ben, anyone you'd like to thank?
Saw the Fury Sim Sport, and also fancy the old Year One Flip Flop Company for the sponsorship for this year.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Enjoy your win and your podium in race 3, and we will catch you next week then.
All right, thank you.
And that was Ben Sharp. Austin, who should we get next?
Well, we went from one Fury Sim Sport to the next Fury Sim Sport. Should we go for the straight three-way?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's get Jazz Banks in here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello.
Howdy, howdy. How are
Howdy,
you doing,
howdy.
Jazz?
Good. Well, yeah. First two races this evening went great, but the third one went very well. Very well indeed. First one, myself and Ben and Alex got caught out by start rules that, well, I just saw them go and went, which was a shame because we probably could have won that. But the third race with Ed was excellent. That was team coordinated, and we decided about lap 3 who was going to win it. Ed's got more points, so he took the win.
All right. Well, you certainly played a big part in helping you and your teammate just absolutely leave the entire field side by side. I know there was a bit of team communicating with each other. How was that being worked out?
Well, we did it. We did a fair few runs in practice trying to work out how we would pair draft cars if we managed to get in that position. And the big thing was calling if we were going to make a move, and then really giving the corner away. So if I pass Ed down into the first chicane in the Mulsanne, if he felt he didn't have enough space, he'd say, you have the chicane. He'd then pass me. I'd say he had the chicane. So we weren't compromising in braking, and we were getting maximum effect from the draft. And that was pretty much it.
I guess that's the advantage over teammates over just people going for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there is a team championship. And, we were aware that Ben was making his way through the field. So, it's a nice 1-2-3 for year one Fury Simsport. It's good with the new colours on board. It's nice for the sponsors, and it's good for the team. And we could have raced, but as I say, all we would have done was compromise the team result. And Ed's got more points, and that's the way it is.
All right. Well, congrats on a brilliant team drive. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Obviously, year one flip flops. You want some custom flip flops? They're the people to get them from, and then just our team managers: Dan Farmer, Edward Rapriger, and Dan Blake, who does a lot of our coaching. All good guys.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for giving us a great show and providing us with a great drive today.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. Thanks, Marco. Great commentary. I'm off to watch the broadcast of the last race.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, that was just Banks, and now let's get race 1 winner then, Carl Giacoletta, who should be and has been, as per usual, rudely interrupted. Hello, Carl.
Good evening, Marco, and good evening, Austin.
So, you had nice going in race 1 with a victory, but in general, can you describe your race night for us?
Yeah, it was up and down. Race 1 was fabulous. Race 2, unfortunately, got tangled up with Edward's spin. And then race 3 that was just a nightmare.
How can you describe the racing? Because I think that the kind of challenge that this track poses, especially with the MX5, is quite unique. And also, we have noticed that, clock at hand, these were the longest races of the championship, maybe in the history of the league, because you usually do 15 minutes, but these races were much closer to 20-21 minutes in length.
Yeah, I was actually expecting them to be 3 laps, not 4.
Same.
Yeah, we got caught out in race 1, so
I saw that. Yeah. But the tactic with this car is give it up on the entry. It really is. There's no need fighting into a chicane with someone side by side. All you're going to do is ruin your exit, and that's going to cost you big time on this track. Just give it up, let the other person go, and just drive back past them again. You've really got to keep that all the way through the race.
And next week, complete change of scenery because we go to Woolton Park. So classic British racetrack, elevation changes, very tight, and lots of corners.
Are we actually doing Alton? I thought they'd changed it.
Well, you are right. There is a bit of you're absolutely right. Now that I think about it, I forgot about the debate about the limited pistols.
I
So
think it's going to
Daytona,
be Daytona Road,
Daytona, yeah, okay. So
which
well,
again is
Awesome.
well,
going to be a slipstreaming track.
yeah,
I quite enjoy the slipstreamers. It's a different tactic, and it is all about not fighting into the corner, but getting the speed out. Just if someone's alongside you, just give it up. There's no use fighting it. You're going to risk damage, and it's going to compromise your speed on the next straight. That first race, I did the whole race without any incursions as well, which I'm really chuffed at.
yeah. I mean, it's always nice to get it, win and a clean race, which it's always a nice feeling. Winning is great. Winning with a clean race, even better. So, Carl, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just race what year one for the flip flops again. Great product, great sponsorship, and it's working out to be a nice team now. It's all gelling together well. So yeah, year one flip flops, excellent.
Thank you very much, Carl, and catch you next week then.
Yeah, I hope so. Good night.
Coming up next, for the first time ever on the podium in BSR Monday Cup competition, Steve Cooley. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Marco. How are you?
Doing absolutely fine. Well, you had an up and down race night, but of course, that podium in race two, makes it all worth.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed with race one. Just come out Porsche cars getting on the power too soon. The funny thing was, before the race, I said to the guys that, yeah, I seem to be, just need to ease back on the power there a little bit. But yeah, when the car wasn't straight, got straight on the power, and yeah, I just lost all grip. The next thing I know, I'm upside down. But made up for in race two. So I'm a bit delighted with that first podium on the Monday night. So it's been a long time coming.
We saw you. Thanks for bringing this up because we saw in all three races in the final sector of the racetrack lots of drivers having grip issues and losing the car on the rear end, and that is a part of the track where you don't get a lot of runoff area. So was it that slippery tonight? Because many drivers from many different teams were caught out in that particular section of the racetrack.
Yeah, I think it's mainly to do with the change of direction. If you're just on the power too soon before the cars actually started to go in the direction you wanted to go, you have the steering pointing slightly left and your car's still going right, and it just spins it back in. But we had a small setup change in the second and third race. It was a lot more stable through that. But yeah, it's just depends how you got. If you've got your car set up to be going as fast as possible, you've got a lot of you're right on the edge of oversteer, and you just lose that grip at the most vital moment. So, but it was a good learning experience. I love the track, and it was good to get the podium in the second race. So it was a happy night.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's been some discussion about next week. So last that I read, Daytona would be the leading choice for next week. How is the selection process going?
Yeah, I believe it is Daytona. The biggest problem has just been to do with grid slots. So I think we had Alton Park was up, but just not got the grid slots for the Tuesday night races, and seeing we follow the same calendar, it's made it a little bit tricky. I believe there was another sort of people's vote, shall we say, and I think Sonoma was probably the top choice at the moment. So hopefully we'll get a bit of confirmation tomorrow about where we're going to be next week, which would be nice.
Yeah. Well, Steve, once again, congratulations. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
You guys for the stream. Always enjoy watching it back after the races. So thank you very much for that. All my teammates at year one been very supportive. I've had a few personal issues over the last few weeks and months, and they've been great, keeping me going. Last but not least, Jamie Ayres, who's been a good sounding board for me the last few weeks. He's been giving me a lot of assistance and a little bit of guidance, and it's done a real good job with me. So thanks to all those guys. So, and everybody on the grid. It's a good bunch of guys. We all mostly got on well. We get the odd niggle and stuff like that, but a lot of respect up and down the grid. So if there's anyone watching that wants to get involved, check it out.
Thank you very much, Steve. Congratulations once again, and catch you next week. We don't know where, but catch you next week.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
And that was Steve Curry, of course, first ever podium in Monday night competition for him tonight. So we are almost done with the broadcast, but let me give you the races coming up on Apex Racing TV this week, and it is going to be an interesting week. Of course, later tonight, Rick Motek is going to be back. That will be at 1:15 GMT. And tomorrow morning at 10:45 GMT, we are going to have the official IMSA series. And later that day, later tomorrow, BSR GT is going to be back, the official series. And at 8:15 GMT, 19:15 GMT, the BSR MX5 Pro Series from Le Mans as well. Then on Wednesday at 7 GMT, we are going to have the Dynamics Sim Racers World GT3 Championship that will be live from Zolder. And it's going to be an interesting race with a tricky racetrack for the GT3 drivers to negotiate. On Thursday, always at 19:15 GMT, we are going to have BSRTC Pro Series, also from Le Mans. And still we are waiting a bit. Next week we should have the media day for the Euro V8 Supercar Series, so you don't want to miss that. World GT is also about to come back, but until then our Saturdays are free, so we will be back once again on Mondays for the BSR MX5 Monday Cup, and we shall let you know in due time where the series will race. As Steve just told us, they are going to probably give us an answer after tomorrow night's BSR MX5 Pro Series, because that is the series that basically dictates the schedule, and the MX5 Monday Cup follows suit because it's both, its main objective, other than being, a very competitive championship, is to give drivers track time for the Tuesday series, not only the pro but also the amateurs, which get double the experience basically, and will have certainly a head start tomorrow night when they fight with the big guys of the Pro Series. So certainly a lot to look forward to. Sadly, Austin had to leave just a bit early, so he is not with me right now, but on his behalf and from everyone here at Apex Racing TV, thank you so much for watching us. My name is Marco Barbanera, and as per usual, I wish you a good night and happy racing.